نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما وزدنا علما وزدنا علما اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد. Right, so we had covered up till ayah number 66 in our session last week, and we'll take it forward now. All right, I hope all of you have your mushafs with you and something to mark, some sort of a pencil or maybe a post-it to write small words or keywords or some point that kind of hits you, anything at all. But you do have something to write on. It helps you to focus better. It helps you to it helps you to grasp the concept better when you are putting your thoughts down on paper. So have something with you, have your mushaf with you. It could be the Arabic mushaf, the transliteration, or in your own language, whatever works for you. But inshallah, do keep a mushaf in front of you. Though the ayahs are displayed on the screen, but still to have it in front of you does have a greater impact. All right, so let's start. We are starting with ayah number 67, Surah Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال موسى لقومه إن الله يأمركم أن تذبحوا بقرة قالوا أتتخذنا هزوا قال أعوذ بالله أن أكون من الجاهلين. And remember when Musa said to his people, Allah commands you to sacrifice a cow. They replied, are you mocking us? Musa responded, I seek refuge in Allah from acting foolishly. Okay, so let's try and analyze the words first. Before I go into that, what is the name of the surah that we are reading about? Which surah is this? Can you all hear me?
Yes, Sister Camila. So, which surah is the chapter? Is second chapter of Baqarah.
Second chapter, Al-Baqarah. And what does it mean? What does Baqarah mean? What does Baqarah mean?
Assalamu alaikum, sister. It means cow.
It means cow. Fatima, barakallah fiqh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The chapter Al-Baqarah means the cow. Right. So the name of, usually in the Quran, name of the chapter is somewhere in the chapter. Okay. And that's how it gets its name. That's how we kind of connect with that chapter, that there's something about this being spoken about in this chapter. So this is where we are on Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 67, where the name of the chapter is mentioned. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى. We've done this before. The word is. The word is kind of a reminder, a repeated and a constant reminder that the favors of Allah on the Bani Israel, and it is a reminder for us that we, being the chosen ummah, these are favors that we have been blessed with as well, right? The favors that Allah blessed us are innumerable, right? So we are given these lessons from the Bani Israel to understand that Allah has constantly and repeatedly blessed us. And what is our attitude? What should it be and what should it not be, so that we do not make the kind of mistakes that the Bani Israel made. So the word is an important word. Yes, Fatima, you want to say something?
Oh, no, sorry. I forgot to mute myself.
No problem. So the word is Qala Musa, and when Musa al-Islam said, when Musa al-Islam liqawmihi, he said it to his people. He was from the Bani Israel. He had been sent to guide the Bani Israel, but first he had to take them out of the captivity in Pharaoh's lands. So he had to take them out. And when he went to them and he had to plead his case with Pharaoh, and he was basically helping the Bani Israel to try and understand where they stand, what is their position. So now that they were free, now that they had come out of slavery, they are in a situation where they need to be taught a lot of rules. They had been in captivity for a very long time, many, many years. And so they had started following what Pharaoh, what the Egyptians were following, right? So they needed to come out because this was not why they were chosen. They were to be role models for the rest of mankind. Allah had a certain purpose for which they were created. They were given this position. They were now freed from the clutches of the Egyptians, from the pharaohs. So they had a certain purpose, but they had to be taught because they had forgotten. As slaves, they were blindly following what the Egyptians, what the pharaohs were commanding them to do. But now that they were free, they had to be retaught the religion. They had to be their aqidah had to be made stronger. They had to revisit what was right and what was the purpose of their life. Right? So subhanAllah, this was Allah's way of trying to teach them many things. When He was putting them through different situations, He was basically teaching them that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Exactly what we are supposed to take for ourselves as well. When we are put in different situations, there is a lesson in it. Allah is trying to teach us something. Allah is trying to purify us. Allah is trying to correct us. We tend to become better people, better Muslims by the time we are done with the test, and we try to understand why Allah has put us through this. Right? That positive attitude helps us to become a better person, makes our iman stronger. So in the same way, there is in this situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two reasons why He put them into the test, and we'll get to that as soon as we are able to analyze the words in this ayah first. So when Musa alayhi salam told to his people, Inna Allah ya'murukum an tadbahu baqara. Inna Allah, verily Allah, commands you. Ya'murukum, amar from the word command. He commands you, an tadbahu, that you sacrifice. Zabaha, just like how we do ziba, right? During Eid al-Dhuha, we do the sacrifice of an animal. The same word that's being used. Tazbahu, to do ziba, to sacrifice. Baqara, this is the word that we have in the name of the surah, Al-Baqarah, and it's the same word. So Allah has commanded you to sacrifice a cow. Qalu, then the people said, Atattakhizuna huzwa. Are you mocking us? Is this a joke? Why did they say something like this? That's the Prophet talking to them. And the prophets don't talk on their own. They talk only what Allah commands them to say. So, and the people they knew that Musa alayhi salam was a prophet. They had to respect him. They had to go by what he was telling them. Why did they say, are you joking with us? Do prophets joke about anything? What do you think?
I think that it's very foolish to talk like that to a prophet, but I think if they're talking to him like that, it's because they don't truly believe he's a prophet, or I don't know what would make them think they could, talk to him like that.
Right.
I'm thinking like by this time, they had seen miracles. So
right. They had even seen the parting of the sea. I mean, that was something that happened just right in front of their eyes. They saw the whole army of Pharaoh drowning in front of them. I mean, they had seen huge miracles. They knew that Musa alayhi salam was a prophet. They knew about it. But still, when he told them to do something, and he wasn't saying it by himself, he was telling Allah commands you to do something like this. So how can that be a joke? Subhanallah, these are matters of deen. Yeah, the lesson for us is they did what they did, but the lesson for us is matters of deen are not meant to be taken as a joke. If Allah says something, do this, it is what we are meant to do is sami'na wa ata'na. We do it. Not like, maybe not. I'll think about it. If it's possible, I'll do it. And no, everybody's not doing it. Why should I do it? No, that's not an attitude that we need to do when we have a command in front of us. Allah's commands are something nothing can be more important than that. And if we are getting it, subhanallah, they were getting this is what Allah commanded you to do. How much more clearer should anything get? Subhanallah. So when Allah commands something, there is so much of hikmah. Here it could just appear like he was commanding them to sacrifice a cow. You might wonder, what is there? What's the big deal in sacrificing a cow? What's behind it? SubhanAllah, nothing that Allah gives you as a command is just given, without a reason. There is so much of wisdom behind it. We aren't able to comprehend it. The best we can do is follow it so that we can go through it and so that we can understand why this happened. What's the purpose of it? So they said, oh, are you joking with us? Another reason. Why? Like I said, the Bani Israel had been in captivity for too long, and they followed what the Egyptians did. And the Egyptians worshipped the cow, right? They worshipped the cow. They had a lot of importance to this animal, right? And if you remember in the previous ayahs, we even spoke about the fact that when Musa alayhi salam was called to the Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, the Bani Israel, they got a calf head made out of gold and they started worshipping him, right? So they had a certain love for this cow, and that was like kind of deep rooted in their heart. And we all know that when something else takes a position in our heart, something beyond, something more than the love of Allah, then the heart is not pure enough to completely love and follow and worship Allah alone. It's not possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He expects us to love Him and worship Him in all sincerity, completely 100%. It's not something that we can do half of. It's not possible. That's not how it works. It's just, that's like taking Allah as the only ilah. Nothing else can, dilute that love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when there is a love for something else in our heart, it's not possible. Here, the Bani Israel, their hearts were filled with the love of the calf, and Allah needed to take this out because they will not be able to reach their purpose if they were going to have this kind of confusion in their hearts, or something else is taking precedence over Allah's love in their hearts. So He had to remove it out, and that was one of the reasons for this command. And the reason why they felt that this was, a joke was because they knew how could Musa alayhi salam ask them to sacrifice a cow. He knew how important the cow was. So they thought, how could you do something like that? How could you ask us, is this a joke? How can we possibly do it? Right, subhanAllah, this was their way of looking. قَالُوا أَتَتَّخِذُنَا هُزُوًا. So Musa alayhi salam says, قَالَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ أَنْ أَكُونَ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Musa alayhi salam says, I seek refuge. أعوذ. We also said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge, right? Musa alayhi salam also says, قَالَ أعوذ بِاللَّهِ. I seek refuge بالله, with Allah. And that akuna, I be among min al jahilin, the ignorant. Who is the ignorant ones here? Jahilin. Who are the ignorant? Who is being referred to here?
Yeah, to the Israelites.
The Israelites. They were being jahil. Who is a jahil? What do you understand from the word jahil? Jahil is one who is ignorant.
It's from someone who is ignorant and doesn't understand, or is not willing to understand.
Yeah, somebody who is not willing to understand. What would be the opposite of a jahil?
Someone that is wise.
Somebody who is wise, somebody who has knowledge. So an ignorant person, yeah. So an ignorant person is one who does not have the knowledge, or he pretends not to act according to the knowledge he has. Right? This is a foolish person. He thinks he knows, but he thinks what he knows is better than what he's been commanded to do, or he does not know at all. He does not know at all. Or he pretends not to know, right? SubhanAllah. So the Bani Israel, they knew Musa alayhi salam was a prophet. They knew that these commands were from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had seen the miracles performed. So Musa alayhi salam says, I don't want to be counted among them. Take listen for us. It's important that we see the kind of people we surround ourselves with. It's so important. When we surround ourselves with people who have the purpose that we have been created for as the priority, we are able to follow suit. We are able to, be inspired. We are able to, cut out on the margins that we give ourselves. We are able to keep moving forward. We are able to, push ourselves to do better. It depends on the kind of people we are with. When we have people around us who are taking life too easily, who are slacking on things, who are enjoying the beauties of dunya, and they are so engrossed in it that deen becomes second priority, then we think what we are doing is great. At least I am praying 5 times a day. No. If we are surrounded by people who give the maximum priority to deen, obviously we will also want to be as good, and we will be able to race forward, right? SubhanAllah. So Musa al-Islam is asking Allah's refuge here to not be counted among those who are foolish. And who are foolish? The ones who mock deen, the ones who don't take the commands of Allah seriously, the ones who don't believe in Sami'na wa Ata'na, but on the other hand think what they know is much better than what Allah is commanding them to do. Right? This was ayah number 67. What is your lessons in this? There's another reason why Allah commanded them to sacrifice the cow. I'm going to do that right after I take some comments from you all. What did you all understand from this ayah? What touched you?
I think it's like for me, it's a reminder of coming to Islam. Sometimes you have certain actions that you had that you used to do before. Like as a Christian, there's different, I wasn't, following what the Bible said, modesty, dress like this, don't do that, even though the Bible said it. So when you come to Islam, sometimes it's hard to let go of those things. And sometimes you just have to be wise and accept there's a knowledge behind everything. Like, okay, I have to wear hijab, I have to wear abaya, I have to, dress modestly. And there's a wisdom behind it, but we don't go and say, are you kidding me? Why would God want me to dress like all big and loose? Because then you would become foolish,
Right.
and you would lose the blessings of Islam. And I think this can come with anything within Islam. With marriage, with kids, with prayer, with learning surahs. So that's something that I get from this.
SubhanAllah, SubhanAllah. And it's tough. Sometimes it gets tough, right? So this beautiful dua in the end could be our dua too. We could make this part of our daily duas too. A'udhu billahi an akuna min al-jahilin. We do not want to be counted among those who are foolish. So we could make this because it's so easy to just go with the crowd, because you feel okay, everybody's doing it. But how do you stay steadfast? How do you stay grounded? How do you stay true to your purpose? Only with Allah's help. Only if you have if you're in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we could use this dua for ourselves as well. Right, subhanAllah. The other reason why Allah commanded this, one was to remove the love of the calf, right? There was another reason, was that there was somebody who was killed. Somebody was killed, and the people didn't own up as to who was the one who killed, who was the culprit, who was the murderer. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted this cow to be sacrificed, to use this cow as a means to get this this truth out, and in that way to teach the Bani Israel about the concept of resurrection. They did not believe in resurrection. That's one, the reason being that they were with the Egyptians for a long time, and if you know a little bit about the Egyptians, they did not they had this concept of pyramids and God knows what, like so their concept of uh, afterlife was completely different. That's not what we believe in resurrection, right? We believe in resurrection as something where we are held accountable for what we do. It's not like an afterlife as in how they believe. If you've seen, the pyramids are filled with all kinds of things to live a life after, after this phase of life. That's not how we believe in the concept of afterlife, right? So that aqidah had to be made clear, and Allah had to bring this to them that He will be bringing He is capable of bringing the dead back to life, and the Bani Israel had to get this clarity so that they could be conscious about what they do, and that's something that we all need to remind ourselves from time to time, that we will be questioned about what we are going to do. And that concept will be only clear if we have yaqeen in the akhirah, that there is going to be a day where we will be made to stand and questioned about what we did. And the reward or the punishment is based on the choices that we have made in this life. Right? Can we move on to the next ayah, or is there something that you would like to add?
No, sister. Very clear.
Okay, let's go on. Ayah number 68. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قالوا ادع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما هي قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا فارض ولا بكر عوان بين ذلك فافعلوا ما تؤمرون. They said, who is they? The Bani Israel said, call upon your Lord to clarify for us. Okay, so now they start questioning. Why, when does anybody question? Now their questions have started. When do you question? What is the reason for asking questions?
I think it's they're being stubborn. So if someone tells you to, sometimes I tell my daughter, go bring me a cup, and she tells me, which one?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to go get it. So
Yes.
she's like doing the questions to like
Wait.
like excuses. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So she doesn't want to do it, and that's exactly what happened here as well. They did not want to do it, and so they were trying to, just ask questions so that they could make the matter a lot, delay the matter, delay the process, and like kind of they thought they could get away with it. So they said, call upon your Lord. They're telling Musa alayhi salam, they could have asked, they could have made dua themselves, but that was their way of dealing with it. Call upon your Lord to clarify for us what type of cow it should be. Right? The command was sacrifice a cow. Very, very simple command, very, very clear command. Allah did not say, if Allah had to say, okay, it has to be this, and this. So, yes, okay, then you have certain parameters to follow. But when Allah said sacrifice a cow, they only had to sacrifice a cow. But they did not stick with that. They had to complicate it. So they asked, clarify what type of cow it should be. So he replied, Musa alayhi salam replied, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the cow should neither be old nor young, but in between. So do as you are commanded. Now they have something to look at. Now there are like 100 cows, and now they've got this clause that they have to take care of. So they've reduced the number of cows. Now, not all the 100 cows can be sacrificed. Not any one of the 100 cows could be sacrificed, but one which was middle-aged. It should neither be too old nor too young, but something in between. They added a little factor to the whole deal, right? Subhanallah. Let's go on. قالوا ادع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما لونها. Next question. They said, call upon your Lord to specify for us its color. Launuha, laun means color, and ha is the cow, the color of the cow. Ask your Lord, what is the color of the cow? So now they know it's a middle-aged cow. Now the next question is, we want to know what is the color of the cow. Now, you all have seen cows. What is the most common color? What do you see most often? You see cows.
Black and white.
Black and white, right? SubhanAllah, that's like the most common. And what's the most rare?
Yellow, red,
Yellow, red, right? SubhanAllah.
brown.
Brown. So these are like
Brown.
not common. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, subhanAllah. So they said, call upon your Lord to specify for us its color. So Musa alayhi salam said, قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة صفراء فاقع لونها تسر الناظرين. He replied, Allah says, it should be a bright yellow cow, pleasant to see. SubhanAllah. They complicated it, they made it more difficult for themselves, right? The word safra is anything that's like, bright color, like golden, yellows, browns, gold, these kind of, it is unique. It is not easy to find. Faqion, not just a yellow color, but a bright yellow. It should have a freshness about it, right? A faqi is adjective of brightness, something that is um, bursting with brightness, something that's nice and shiny. SubhanAllah, right? This is the kind of color. This is the kind of color Allah told them that this is the kind of cow you need to sacrifice, right? SubhanAllah. When they made this deed difficult, when they started asking questions, it became more and more and more difficult, right? The Egyptians, they worshipped gold cows. That's what Samiri had done. He had replicated this and made them a gold ijil, right? This is the kind of cow that they made, right? SubhanAllah. So golden was something that was set in their minds as something which is very precious. So Allah said, okay, now that's what I want you to do. You need to sacrifice a cow that is golden, right? When the orders that Allah gives are not followed, just Allah tells you to do something and you don't follow it, life becomes tough. Just like how the Bani Israel made this so much more tougher, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not expect you to do something which is difficult for you. Allah expects you to have a very balanced life. Allah does not give you anything, any orders that's difficult for you to do. Allah never does any sort of zulm, right? He only wishes khair for us. And so his commands are easy. It's just about you and your attitude and the fact that you want to do something or you don't want to do something. When you want to do something, you're going to just ask for Allah's help and you'll just go ahead and do it because Allah's going to help you do it anyways, right? But when you don't want to do something is when you do this fatwa shopping. Is it necessary? Is it important? Can I do it this way? Can I do it that way? SubhanAllah. So we make our life complicated, right? Did they stop with that? No, they did not. Let's see what they did. They asked another question. قالوا ادع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما هي إن البقرة تشابه علينا وإنا إن شاء الله لمهتدون. Again they said, call upon your Lord so that he may make clear to us which cow. Okay, which cow? Among the hundreds, they've already brought it down to a middle-aged cow, and then among the middle-aged cow, now they had to find a golden cow. But still, they said they are not clear about it. So what did Musa alayhi salam said? Musa alayhi salam, he did ask Allah that when they said this, that all the cows look the same to us, and they said, if Allah can give us more specifics, then we will be guided to the right one. So Musa alayhi salam said, قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث مسلمة لا شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. Musa alayhi salam said, Allah says, it should have been neither to till the soil nor to water the field. As in, the cow should not be something that you use for your daily needs. It should not be something that you use for farming or for, for any plowing. Nothing. It should not be something that you use. So it should be a cow which is free of all these, responsibilities. And La shiyata fiha. It should not have any blemish, right? There should be not a single dot on it. Shiyata is from the word washi, which means any mark that is of a different color. So it should be a beautiful, single colored, bright yellow cow, which should be in the best of its prime time, middle age, not too old, not too young, and it should not be, you should not have used it, so it's not tired, or it's not got any bruises, nothing. It should be like really, really the best of the lot, right? So they made it even more complicated. قَالُوا الْآنَ جِئْتَ بِالْحَقِّ. They said, now you have come with the truth, right? فَذَبَحُوهَا وَمَا كَادُوا. Kadu is a word which says almost did it. Almost. They were almost going to, which meant that, they did not do it wholeheartedly. They just did it because now they had no choice. So they finally did it because now they ran out of questions, and that's it. They just had to get down to doing it. This was what they did to themselves, right? Subhanallah, in these ayahs, Musa al-Islam is giving a command, but he is not telling it by himself. He's connecting it with Allah. So this was Allah's command, right? So when we are given commands, we are just supposed to do it. This is a serious, serious matter. And joking about anything related to deen, this is not okay. This is what the hypocrites do. This is what the hypocrites of that time did, and I think even till today we can say this is the attitude of a hypocrite, right? This is something that we need to look into ourselves, right? So whenever you feel angry, whenever you feel that I cannot do something, what we actually need to do is ask Allah to protect us, ask Allah to guide us, ask Allah to help us. And asking protection from Allah is something that we all need to do from at any point of time, and that beautiful dua, A'udhu billahi an akuna min al-jahilin, should become a part of us. Right? This was the attitude of the Bani Israel. This is what they got down to doing, refuting the commands that was given to them and trying to get away from whatever Allah commanded them to do, just because they felt that what they were the chosen ones, and they were super smart, and what they felt is right is right. Anything else that anybody said is foolishness. It's just a joke, right? This was their attitude. Big lessons for us. What do you all think? What can we take out of this? That's it. This is the story for today. What did you all take out of this?
Overall, we can summarize it. I can summarize it as, follow the commands of Allah, and don't try to be stubborn. Otherwise, you will learn the hard way. And even if you do, I feel like Allah loves you, so
Right.
He's trying to show you the right way.
Right. SubhanAllah.
So,
SubhanAllah. You ultimately have to do it.
yes.
Whether you like it or not, you still have to do it. So to do it in the first, when you get a command, I mean, the effort that you will make in pleasing Allah is so much more special than after you ask this whole series of questions and then doing it hesitatingly. You might not do it perfectly in the first time that you do it, but you're doing it for Allah's sake. You're doing it because Allah told you to do so. The feeling is completely different. While you say, I will do it when I'm completely convinced about it, yeah, you probably will do it with a lot more conviction. But of course, it's taken time. It's not an immediate response to something that you got as a command. So Allah is watching our reaction to the way that we live our lives in our effort to stay connected to the commands of Allah. That's what the Quran does for us. These stories of Bani Israel are given to us so that we are able to live better lives, so that we don't make the same mistakes that they made. This is the situation where we are faced with orders and commands from Allah every single situation of our life. Any matter that we take, we have rulings about it. We have guidance from the Quran and from the Sunnah saying this is how you're supposed to do. If you do this, you're going to be successful. If you do this, you're going to get the pleasure of Allah. If you do this, you're going to be saved from the hellfire. You have very clear-cut commands, very clear-cut instructions in the Quran. Right, subhanallah. It is our attitude as to how much we want to hold on to this, how much we want to take this kitab as our guide, as our friend. How much time we spend with the Quran is indicative of how close we want to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Anything else you'd like to say? Anybody else?
Yes, Sister Camila.
Yes,
So
Siti.
I was just thinking, like sometimes, yes, it's like sometimes in these verses, it's very like sometimes clear. We might sometimes make a mistake that I'm not in this category, but it's so like subtle, and sometimes I think personal like self-awareness and honesty is really required, because maybe you might have made the mistake that we had, come across something which we did not like. Maybe the attitude and the intention at the beginning was not as good, but maybe if we take the time to reflect, to change it in the intention in the middle of the act and the intention at the end, maybe we can kind of like reverse that. Instead of, if we see those 3 verses, it's kind of like their intention mean that they were insolent at the beginning and in the middle and in the end. But the end matters, because they could have been able to recuperate and get some reward out of that.
SubhanAllah. Allah is watching us and He knows the state of our hearts. Nothing is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we say is, if it's not reflected in our heart, it is Allah is aware of it. Allah knows what our thought process is, what our intentions are. He knows. And when He gives us commands, He knows that we can do it. Right? The only thing that stops us from doing it is a level of pride, a level of laziness, and the attitude that I can get away with being over smart about this. But to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anything that Allah commands, He does not benefit from it. It's we who benefit from following those commands. Right? Barakallah fik, Cindy. Anybody else?
I
Assalamu alaikum.
wanna,
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, Nimir in the chat, she wrote, "Trust in Allah. He knows what's best for us. He loves us. We must love Him. He is our protector."
Barakallah fik, Sister Namira. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Complete tawakkul in Allah is so important. And really, this helps you to stay so focused, knowing that Allah is our guide and Allah is our friend and Allah only wishes goodness for us. SubhanAllah, that helps you to maneuver this course of life with so much more confidence. Barakallah fik, Sister Namira. Yes, Sister Zakia, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I was just saying that sometimes we think that the test come or the order comes just for us. But, when we obey Allah and we show, like, we're like a role model for the people around us too. People watch you, they learn from you. So it's not just like one little test is just for one. It's like a very big vision of Allah. Like, so many people are watching you, so many people get affected by you. So it's not just a personal test, it's a test for everyone around you too. And they're all learning, we're all becoming better human beings, because people who lead, we've seen people who lead very luxurious life and stuff, they're all bad, but they mostly come out not such good human beings. But the people who've gone through most tests are more mature, more nicer, more compassionable, compact. All kind of these qualities get developed when we go through a test, or when you listen to the commands of Allah. So there's so many reasons behind one little command, and it's not like a narrow picture, it's a very wide picture. So Allah knows the best, because he's our Lord. Just wanted to add that.
SubhanAllah, SubhanAllah. The Arabic word for Lord is Rabb. I think we've done this before as to what comes under this word Rabb. What meanings come under this word Rabb? Anybody who remembers? We've done this before initially. What does Rabb mean?
It's a lot of words combined together.
Right.
Sustainer, caretaker.
Right.
I don't know, like so many
So
adjectives.
many. Yes.
Yeah, so many numerable, like, you know.
Depth of the Arabic words is something that we cannot really put down in a few English words. It's not possible. But just for us to remember, if we can remember that the word Rabb encompasses the qualities of creator, owner, and sustainer. So, subhanallah, Allah being our creator, He owns everything that is there on this, that is there. Everything is under His mulk, His milkiyat, His ownership. And then it's the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He just did not create us, but He gives us the resources to live in this world, to grow in this world, to, make the best of our lives in this world. He is the one who is the provider of all these resources. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us. SubhanAllah, imagine if He has this kind of mercy, will He make us go through something that will hurt us, that will make us, damage us, that will, make us fall? This is our own zulm that we do on ourselves when we do not follow these commands. If we had to follow the commands of Allah, there is definite success at the end of the road. Right? We need to understand that. SubhanAllah. Yes. Anything else you'd like to add? Barakallah feek. MashaAllah. Beautiful reflections.
Yeah, well, accept all du'as. I mean, Ya Rabbil Alameen. I thought it was very interesting when Prophet Musa alayhi salam made the dua. So he was among his people and he saw the wrongdoing, and not only did he admonish the people, but he made dua. I guess I don't know the complete context, but he saw, because I've read different different translations, but this one is a little bit different than the one that I'm used to reading. But it sounded like to me he was seeking refuge in Allah to protect himself, but it also maybe like because he's a prophet, he's the leader of the people. He probably would have made dua for his people to be guided and for their state to be rectified. And it's very interesting when you said that if the heart is not filled with Allah, but there's a little bit of a wedge where something else is
Right.
is preventing the people from completely submitting. And so that's why like we often hear that the hadith that we should be careful about the friends that we take, because we'll be upon the deen of our
Right.
friends. So it's almost like spiritually, if their state is not good, but
Right.
like a Muslim who is not mindful of their state keeps hanging out with somebody whose spiritual state is not that great, but they get caught up with a crowd where they're in a wrongdoing. But then Musa alayhi salam teaches us that we should watch our state, because if our spiritual state will get affected by the spiritual state of our friends, which may cause us to open ourselves to wrongdoing.
Right. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. You all must have heard about this, where it said that, what company can do. And very beautifully, it's been said, the example that's been used is that of, a person sitting with a perfume seller. Right? What happens when you sit with a perfume seller? What happens when you walk into a shop which is filled with perfumes?
Yeah, the fragrance of that smell stays on your clothes.
Is on you, right? SubhanAllah. Even if you don't buy, even if you don't, you don't take something with you, but still that fragrance, that sweet smell of the perfume holds on, lingers on around you, and you take it with you. You don't pay for it. You just take it with you, like a default setting. You just take it with you. But on the other hand, if you had to sit with a blacksmith, what happens? What happens? Even if your hands are not used in doing the work, even if you are not actually doing the work of a blacksmith, but if just sitting next to him, you cannot avoid not having a little bit of soot stuck to your clothes. That's what friends do, right? The kind of people you hang out with, the kind of people who are in your circle, and really, really, we need to look at who are our contacts. Our WhatsApp is, an indication of what kind of people we enjoy talking to, what kind of people we enjoy keeping in touch with. So the kind of people that we choose, it's a choice. It's not family, right? It's not family. Family is like, that's what Allah has chosen for us, right? SubhanAllah, we are born into this family. But the friends we make, that's a choice. And Allah has given man a choice in everything that he has, and then he has, that he desires, or he goes forward with. He has a choice either to take this or that. So the friends we make is made by choice, and we have the choice to make the kind of friends whom, irrespective of, how close we are or how much time we spend with them, even that little bit of connection, we are able to take something khair from them and move on. Right, that's all we have for today, inshallah. May Allah bless us with beneficial knowledge and keep us steadfast and help us to understand this beautiful kalam and apply it into our lives and make us into better Muslims, strengthen our iman so that we are able to hold on to the ahkams and see the wisdom behind these ahkams and change our lives such that we are able to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.